systematically dismantle Fnatic. Is that too crude to put it like that?
No, I think that's the perfect way to put it. At first, Navi made some mistakes. Let's not forget that. They overextended top quite a few times. They went from, I believe it was a 4-1 lead, all the way down to a 6-6 tie, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. So Fnatic is actually going to go ahead and take that Nightstalker away from Navi. This time, the Invoker will be in Navi's hands, and we've seen Dendy's Invoker before. That is not something to be trifled with. Will it be Exort? Will it be Wex? Well, he likes that Exort build, and against a hero like Windrunner, a hero like Chen, these are pretty squishy heroes, and importantly, whenever you play Exort Invoker and you go for early Sunstrikes, you need setup stuns, and he's got the perfect setup right now with Shadow Demon and then leshrac. Those two comboed together, likely to be seen running around as buddies, whether they're in the lane, maybe doing a little bit of roaming. It's going to be a potent combination, a lot of burst ganking potential, even at level 1. Or not level 1, but level 2 for the Navi lineup.
With that said, now, if you look at the Fnatic's lineup, they have so much offensive firepower that they can burst down a couple of heroes on their own. We saw how big nightstalker got last game. The windrunner from last game was played by Fly was actually fairly impressive. We talked about how he was outlaning the Weaver in the early get-go. And with Chen, of course, the stomp on the creeps early on with tower pushes. So very important. So let's not leave the Fnatic camp fully because they could get off a couple of hero kills into tower pushes, especially if Navi's heroes are fairly squishy in their own right. I mean, leshrac, Shadow Demon, you can pick off these heroes very easily. So I think it feels like whoever is going to be more aggressive this game, is going to have the advantage. And with that said, I think Navi is the king of all aggression, so they should be okay there.
Can I just say, I really like the fact that Navi is showing some respect towards Fnatic, especially Hani with that Sand King. Hani, every time we see Fnatic where Hani plays Sand King, it seems that he's getting a really fast Blink Dagger up, often, usually opting to skip Arcane Boots, and then even if his team doesn't win the game, he is definitely the highest impact hero on the map. So, as good of a team as Navi is, they're not a team that underestimates any of their opponents. They do their research, they know how teams like to pick, and even against Fnatic, a team that doesn't have many wins to their name, Navi is showing the proper respect, banning out that Sand King. They pick up a Storm Spirit as well, and the initiation range on Navi is looking pretty solid, especially if it's a Wex Invoker. That Storm will give them a nice hero to zip in, and if you could lock down heroes like Morphling, Windrunner, and Chen, especially the Chen before he can pop his heals, or the mechanism, that's going to give you a big edge in the team fights here. That being said, it is another squishy hero, and against Nightstalker, it's a dangerous pick because that silence really shuts down. In fact, it shuts down every hero on Navi's lineup, but especially that Storm.
Yeah, unlike last game, Fnatic's squad is actually a little bit more resilient here. Of course, Morphling's going to get revisited. We have the same Windrunner. Nightstalker is a lot tankier. Crystal Maiden's going to be the only kind of weak spot here. As we see a Batrider being picked up by Navi. We haven't seen this hero quite a bit. I'm not sure if you saw a lot in the East qualifiers, but I mean, Batrider, as we know, is a hero that the Europeans have forgotten about, which is somewhat surprising because in Dota 1 he is all the terror.
Well, one important mechanics point to make about that, but first I will say that Batrider I saw one time, I think it was Aeon who ran him, in an offensive tri-lane, and they actually won the lane, even though Batrider is normally a hero seen soloing. Maybe he'll have a support coming to gank his lane or doing some pulling. Batrider is a very potent hero. If he doesn't get picked off right away in a team fight, he just does so much damage. That being said, he is pretty squishy, and I want to point out here that Fnatic have a lot of mobility. The Nightstalker, the Windrunner, the Morphling, and the Chen to keep them all alive. They're very strong defensively. They're very difficult to burst down, and Batrider is a hero that doesn't like to be chasing too much because he is relatively squishy. He has to be in the front lines to get that net off. But it gives Navi yet another initiator, yet another source of lockdown here. So, I mean, the way Navi is picked, they want to be really aggressive in the mid game.
Trust me, he's not going to be doing too much chasing because there's so much lockdown power. Like you pointed out earlier, the Storm Zip, of course, once he hit level 6, he could actually... Look at Dendy, he's got his cape. He's got his Invoker gear decked out. His sword cape, he's got the shoulder gear, he's got the gloves. Dendy's been getting some items. In any case, Dendy is going to be playing the Invoker. We have Puppies, a Batrider, Arzard's Shadow Demon, a Hovos leshrac, and we have Light of Heaven Storm Zip.
Hey, is this going to be a jungle Batrider?
We know it's Puppy playing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So I'm going to say yes.
I think we are going to see some jungle shenanigans. And if you look at the team here for Navi, they have a lot of heroes that are very level dependent. Batrider wants to hit the quick level 6. Invoker, we all know how many levels he needs. even leshrac, even if he's played as that secondary support hero, which it looks like he will be, you still want to get up the levels on him, and ideally a couple of items to help keep you alive against the burst damage of Fnatic. And of course, Storm Spirit needs to hit that quick level 6 in order to be effective in the mid game. So I think it will be a jungle Batrider, and we'll have to see, will Fnatic be able to punish this? You don't have to kill the Batrider directly, but if you can pressure towers and, you know, Navi will be playing a 4v5 for the first 5 or 6 minutes if it's a jungle Batrider. And that's where Chen can really shine.
Yep, and that's a very important timing. Like you said, Chen will shine this stage. If you could push aggressively for towers and draw Batrider away from the jungle and effectively, you know, cut off his farm in the level, that would actually be very, very important. Or if the Batrider says, yeah, sure, you can have our tier 1 tower, then that's a big burst of gold to pick up that extra bracer that you will surely need against the offensive power of Navi. And here we go, we're going to have a game on the way. Fly is going to be playing the windrunner era, handling the morphling and Hani, and be playing the nightstalker, Notel and Chen, and Nova playing the Crystal Maiden. We have an early smoke purchase on Crystal Maiden, so perhaps we're going to see a little bit more roaming. But if it's the same as we saw last game, she was going to have no time to even leave the lane. Unless she's dying, which is leaving lane, I guess.
And Navi, once again, they're all 5 grouped up. They're going to go for this early adventure into the enemy jungle. Looks like they're not going to find anyone from Fnatic. Will we see some aggressive wards being placed? I'm assuming we will. Arsart probably going to try and limit the effectiveness of this Chen. This is a pretty bold ganky path Navi is taking. Normally you'll see teams sort of going down the lane and then into the jungle, because this way you are running up 2 hills, but with 5 heroes, they should be just fine. They really want a first blood here. Everyone perched up on this hill. How long will they stay is the question. It looks like not very, and now they're going to rotate. Then are we going to see an offensive tri-lane with the Batrider? Puppey does have a rate of protection. We could see a dual roam with leshrac and Shadow Demon. It's a very potent dual roaming combination because you have great setup for the Split Earth. And once Shadow Demon and leshrac hit level 2, the Edict as well as Soul Catcher will be hitting quite hard. Magic Bush Ward is plopped down. Or sorry, no, not a Magic Bush Ward. But it will give them a lot of vision. I think
this ward barely shuts down the camp on the right. Although this camp is one of the biggest spawn boxes ever. But with that said, I'm not sure if that's even in range. We'll see in just a bit though. Meanwhile, we have Arzard kind of just chilling over a double damage rune. And we do have a build sort of geared towards jungling for Batrider. But with that said, this might not even be that. It could be even a roaming Batrider. I haven't seen that being done yet, but if it's a person that would do it, it's probably Puppey.
Well, they might be roaming directly into the middle lane with a DD picked up. Arsart leading the way. The Void onto a creep just to start. Dendy is only level 1. A great reaction by Hani, immediately heading north. So this dual roam will not get anything accomplished here. Puppey trying to scout out the high ground. It does drive nightstalker off the lane for about a wave or so. And his lane is pushing, so he might miss a little experience. But you really want to get a kill when you're devoting 2 heroes to this roam. And now, are they going to... everything they do is being spotted by this ward, so... either way, I don't expect to see any kills coming off of this roam.
Yeah, meanwhile, Stormster on the top lane is having a really tough time. Of course, I mean, he outranges the Morphling by himself, but there's a Crystal Maiden nearby, there's a Chen nearby. And here we go, the Chen creeps are going to be discovered, and of course, there's a ward preventing the pull. Puppey's playing a support Batrider in this sense. I really feel like he didn't really have a clear game plan. I don't think he picked this for a support Bat. I felt like it could be jungle, but it just didn't go their way, of course, with that first blood. And then he's just now chilling in the top lane.
Here we go. Smoke Gang to initiate onto the middle lane. Looks like No-Tail and Nova. Nova will be leading the way. He's got Frostbite, and Exort Invoker is very gankable at this stage of the game. He's not going to have Ghost Walk. He's not going to have the increased movement speed or the regen, and the Void to start. The Frostbite being held. Dendy will be the first blood, and... hey, Invoker on the middle lane, very, very squishy, especially when you go for that Exort build. In this case, I don't think it would have mattered, even whether he went Quas or Wex. He was only level 2. Great job by Fnatic. They get that first blood, and they slow down a hero and a player who's just so momentum-based and who really needs a good start. On the top lane.
And continue to apply pressure on Era. There's 5 stack on him right now. Needs that 6 stack soon. No, it's going to be gone. Meanwhile, they're probably not the best choice to initiate on, considering that there's 2 junglers, 2 roamers missing out the map. They want to go back in the mid lane. It seems like Dendy have not learned his lessons. He bypassing the river, and that means Crystal Maiden and Chen will be coming right back. The chicken coming back as well. Dendy might throw that one away. He does, but unfortunately his hero is going to be going down second time. Crystal Maiden picks up the kill this, even though Hani's not getting any of these kills. In fact, the fact that he could just free farm this lane, and the fact that his supports are getting levels and the kills, perhaps even a better exchange.
Looks like Puppey is going to head mid, at least get some experience while that invoker is dead, and we'll have to see how long he stays here. Will Puppey now be babysitting that lane? Light of Heaven up top is going to be forced back by No-Tail, and I have to say No-Tail's Chen has been very successful so far. It's not only the 2 kills that he got mid, it's also the pressure he's applying towards the top lane, trying his best to slow down Light of Heaven, who only has 9 CS, 3 CS a minute. It's not bad, but it's really not what you want on a Storm. In terms of the overall farm, though, leshrac is having a pretty good time, and Dendy, in spite of his deaths, up to 10 CS. Well, if we take a look at Fnatic, nobody is farming well. 7, 7, and 8. They're okay. Though these are okay numbers at this stage, but really not what you want to see.
I mean, despite being 2 kills ahead, they're only leading by a measly 200 gold, which is nothing. So the farming very much so in the favor of the Navi squad right now. We did have Arza just hit level 2 on the bot, level 2.5. Meanwhile, we have Windrunner going to be hitting level 4 after just a single point experience. What this also means with Arza hitting level 2 is that they're going to be actively looking to kill the Windrunner. I mean, with Shadow Demon Disruption alone, they can't really kill it, but with Soul Catcher on top of that, when you're applying the extra damage to a level 2 Edict, as well as a Splitter, it's going to hurt so much.
Another
Here comes
Smoke
Fnatic.
Gank.
Yeah, Smoke Gang coming up on top. But Stormster is playing very defensive next to his tower. I really think they could dive this, and if it was Navi on the same spot, well, we saw them dive this tower endless amount of time in game number 1. But right now, Fnatic, feeling a little bit more safe, or a little bit more reserved, and they really could do this because Era's free farming. And so, so odd to put a kind of offensive trialing top with Era's morph. But they're doing it right now. Stormster level 4, it's going to eat a Nova. We're going to have a fight, and looks like we're going to have a KS on with the waveform. There you go, Morphling picks up that kill. And 0-3 in favor of Fnatic.
They're shutting down mid, they're shutting down top, or at least they're doing a decent job of it. I mean, we mentioned the farm is going Navi's way. Puppey only level 3, and he's not contributing anything to his team right now. Frankly, I feel the jungle Batrider would have been more effective, and you can smoke jungle with Batrider. You don't even have to smoke, but it is available if you want to do it. And since they're not using the smokes anyway at this stage of the game, he could be level 4, level 5, level 6 even in the next minute or two with a couple of stacks onto that camp. You simply spam sticky napalm and then you go on it in Firefly form. You won't actually be attacked by the creeps because of that smoke. You're only using spells, so I feel like Puppey has been very ineffective so far, and you might as well be in the jungle. Sunstrike into the disruption as well as the soul catcher and the edict. Fly will he live the wind run? He just might get away. 10 HP, and I think that was after a couple seconds of regen. Fly living on the edge, and look how far they're diving him. No lightning, so I don't think we're going to see the kill here. What? Right click!
Get the kill. The wind run gets popped a little bit too late. A little bit of mechanics. If the animation has left the hand of the enemy hero, the wind run will not dodge your last hit. You have to actually pop your wind run before the hit actually is leaving your hand. It doesn't work like phase shift, and of course, because he did not know that mechanics or forgot about it, he has to pay for it very dearly. So leshrac having so aggressive for him, chase so deep. But meanwhile, though, you talked about how perhaps Puppey could jungle. I'm not too sure, and he's gonna try it right now. Because there's 2 enemy guys roaming around, and they can easily roam in the jungle. Back in the middle lane, though, Dandy gets silenced up. Massive right click in his way. Nightstalker picks up this kill. 4-1 now in favor of Fnatic. And the gank only begins because now Nightstalker is fully filling his power at nighttime, and he's going to try to get the regen room. Puppey denies that one. Unfortunately, he has to waste a Firefly and go up the hill and escape that way. Because Nightstalker, you don't want to face him at nighttime.
Yeah, that's really going to slow down his jungling, because without the Firefly, he wasted most of it just surviving there. He will be able to get the small camp, so Puppey getting something going. Let's take another look at the gold graph, and it's up to 1,000 gold lead. So slowly but surely, Fnatic is extending their lead here. That being said, the leshrac has been left basically untouched bottom, and true to form, whenever you leave any player on Navi's team, not just the carries like Kavost or Dendy, but even the support players or the third position players, they will get farm if left alone. Arcanemoon's already picked up. Would like to see a raid of Basilius here, potentially on Arsar, but on one of these heroes to pressure that lane. But Dendy getting picked off mid again. This jungle, this dual roam from the Enchantress and Chet has been so effective in terms of getting kills. The one thing they haven't done is push down a tower or gotten too many levels, but as I say that, now they're going to commence the push. And I don't think Navi can do anything to stop this.
Yeah, I think perhaps that was a rare mistake from Dendy. If you look at the hill, they definitely had an observer up there. They saw Crystal Maiden and Chen just chilling up there. And despite of that, Dendy went forward and he paid for it very dearly. I want to go back to your point, pointing out how Navi likes to farm all their players. I mean, last game, we keep in mind that ours are Shadow Demon. He got a very early 4-staff. He was farming in jungle. He was sitting at 1700, 1800 gold that you pointed out. And of course, that 4-staff allowed them to be a lot more mobile during those chases and escapes. And of course, pay dearly. Made Fnatic pay very dearly. Meanwhile, leshrac simply slowly pushing it on the bot lane as we see those 3 or 4 man roams. They want to get Storm on the top lane. Storm not 6 yet, and that could be very dangerous for him. He's going to back off now.
Oh, he's dead. Void to start, dead. Shackle to follow, Silence for good measure, and Light of Heaven still being denied that level 6. But while this is happening, like you said, there's pressure on the bottom lane, and Navi may actually break even in towers, but that being said, their core heroes, the Invoker, the Storm Spirit, are being ganked off so much, and Storm, as well as Invoker, are heroes that need that good start, especially in terms of levels. It's going to be a tough mid-game for Navi, although they are doing a decent job of getting trade-offs where they can. In fact, top tower is being pressured.
leshrac has to back off at this moment, going back to base to get a little bit heal. The pressure applies on the top lane here. Tier 2 is going to be protected for now on the bot, but I mean, the next push from Navi will bring it down. Meanwhile, though, nightstalker finds art style in the jungle. It's going to pick him off, has a double damage, rune ready to go. Top tower is going to get destroyed, and the gold chart starting to get a little bit lopsided for the Radiant team. Nebula has said this in the past where he says if Navi gets off an early start, the game's going to be over, which most of the time is true. If Navi gets off a slow start for whatever reason, then we're going to get ourselves a game. And really, I think we're going to get ourselves a game here.
Yeah, this is where the real game begins versus Navi, is when they have what is seemingly a huge deficit. They will always find ways to at least make it interesting, if not turn it around. In spite of the fact that they're down 7-1, it's only a 2,500, maybe 3,000 gold lead. Now that's a lot. Okay, it's actually more like 2,000. So it's really not the biggest deficit in the world. I think the bigger issue for Navi right now is that they're losing these outer towers, something they're normally very strong at holding on to. It's something you need versus Nightstalker in particular. Such a strong ganker. Speaking of that, Nightstalker, Arsart gonna get caught out, and Puppy can do nothing but run away. In fact, he's in a bit of trouble here. Hani continuing the chase. Will he be able to make another pickoff happen? The Firefly is available, and he will be okay for the moment, but I mean, losing these early towers, where is Storm going to find the levels in the farm? Where is Invoker going to find them? Pretty much it's only bottom lane that anybody can be farming.
Dendi is making towards that bottom lane. Meanwhile, though, Era, of course, getting the beneficial towers guild, and of course getting the free farm, already up to 58 in 10 minutes. Very, very respectable. A little bit under 6 per minute. He's got the treads. Looks like Sunstrike a little bit behind. Era not going to hit it there. And Dendi's going to be trying to get his farm on this lane. Dendi likes to have those early starts on Invoker. He generally gets it because he's getting so many Sunstrike kills. But he's got ganked off 4 times, 0, 4, and 1 as the score of this game. And it's really not looking good for him. Meanwhile, the Nightstalker fully enjoying the first night. Ganking around, picks off yet another kill under the tier 2 tower. Nowhere safe for Fnatic right now. Nowhere safe for Navi right now.
Well, I said that they showed Hani some respect by banning a Sand King, but Hani's showing off his versatility here. And Hani is really the player that sets the tempo for Fnatic, wins them these early game fights. If you can get Hani hot, if you can get him going, he can apply so much pressure, especially because of the types of heroes that he's seen play. Strong gankers. As I say that, Eric gets zipped on. Sunstrike to follow. Will it be enough damage, though? He's morphing straight. He's morphing straight. He's going to TP out at a failed gank from Navi, and this is what happens when Morphling has a decent start. You need absolute, complete lockdown to bring him down. They don't have that Nightstalker silence to work with. It's going to be very tough for them to get any kills, in fact, but they're going to make a go here on Hani. Hani in a bit of trouble. That Soul Catcher doing a lot of damage. It is a level 3 Soul Catcher. They went for the high damage build. Will it be enough? He's so tanky. The Flame Break pushing him away. In fact, I think that might have saved him. It was going to be close either way, but Hani escapes. And a lot of wasted time. Navi are completely on the back foot.
Yeah, they definitely needed the Persia to slow down the Nightstalker. Nightstalker not going to waste any time, gets sent back home by the Chen. He's going to bottle region up very quickly, and now going to port back into a lane and continue to wreak up havoc. No, he picks up an Ogre Club. That means he's going to have to waste a lot of time running back in lane. Exchange of just merely 10 strength, I'm not too sure. I think he should just buy the TP and then get the Ogre Club just a little bit later on. But in any case, he's going to be joining the fight momentarily. Meanwhile, Fnatic just getting everywhere. Look at the aggressive warding right up in the enemy jungle. This is such an early ward, but Arzar, he knows. He knows that they're going to be warding, and this is the beginning of a small Navi comeback. Get back map control, trying to get whatever kills you can. Try to not, feed that Nightstalker as much as you have, and hopefully come back during the second phase of daytime. That will be the truly testing time for Fnatic. Let's see how well they hold in the next day.
Well, if you take a look at Fnatic, in spite of their early success, they are still relatively squishy. Again, Hani going in. This time on Dendy, the pull from Light of Heaven, the power shot, the Nova. Dendy getting low. Dendy will go down. Dendy has died 5 times this game. This is very unusual. Shackle shot onto Arsard. He gets picked off. Fnatic is going to get a tier 1 off of this, and maybe a tier 2 as well. If you look at Navi's lineup, they are a bit weak in terms of anti-push, especially because leshrac has opted for the Edict and the Split Earth Max. There's really nobody that can spam down these creep waves. Fnatic may even be able to transition towards the Roche Pit with a decent ward and maybe a D-ward here. Chen not level 6 though, so that would be a bit dangerous, and nighttime it is about to end.
LD, we're going to have to restart that call again because we were getting a little bit buggy, so let's do that right.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
LD, you okay? You're good?
I'm good.
Alright. Now, we talked about the lack of lightning build. It seems like this has been the de facto choice of most European builds, at least for the last couple of weeks. Months before that, we saw the lightning build. We saw a good mixture of lightning, picking up post Nova 6. There's about like a billion leshrac build. Seems like most European pros has agreed to, you know what, let's forget about the lightning. Because leshrac, it seems to be evolving more and more towards of a carry leshrac. And, we saw the explosive power with post Nova. You run in, pops a BKB with Bloodstone on the late situations in the game. In that stage of the game, lightning is simply not that helpful. And the 8 stats that you trade off instead of getting lightning, it's a lot more effective towards that style of leshrac play, where you're just basically in the face of everybody and tanking all the spells while dishing out so much of your own damage. So that's why we're not seeing leshrac get the early lightning build. But now, with this said, perhaps we are going to see a lightning build because the push is coming their way. And to be frank, there's not much effective counter push from Navi.
Right, I mean, I completely agree with you, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers out there, they now have a good understanding of why we don't often see lightning, but this may be one of those games where they need it. Otherwise, how are you going to stop the push? Light of Heaven, he can't stop it on Storm. You can't be walking up the creep wave to drop Remnants against Fnatic. Batrider, he's got, I mean, they really have nothing. Aside from Shadow Demon, who could, if he went for Shadow Poison Max, potentially spam down the waves, but that is a slow way to do it, and it's only a level 1 Shadow Poison. I feel like Fnatic they did a fantastic time in the first night, and their goal right now should be to get up those next core items here. No-Tail has hit level 6. Would love to see the mechanism on him, and in fact, as I say that, the buckler and the recipe being flowed out. Good farm here on No-Tail. I mean, really not the best in terms of creep score, but in terms of the early game kills and the towers, this is exactly what you want to see out of a Chen. Everyone's starting to get up those core items. Fly has a 4-staff as well. And the Nightstalker working towards a BKB, only about 1,200 away. Hani in a bit of trouble here. He's got a DD rune, but they have the lockdown to bring him down. Batrider ult, Cold Snap, as well as the Ice Wall. Sent back to base. The Chen heal just not enough. That was close. And the chase going the other way. Nova might get caught out. Split Earth canceled. Pulse Nova being applied. Will we see a Split Earth? Split Earth finally is going to hit, and Nova goes down. Some kills desperately needed by Navi, and they claim both of them.
Exactly like I said earlier, what will Navi do during the daytime? It's a testing time for Fnatic, and right at the beginning of the day, Navi just sets up a gank. They got the Nightstalker, got a lot of bounty go from him. You gotta keep in mind, he had a big streak. leshrac got both those kills. We talked about leshrac as one of those snowball heroes. If you allow him to get ahead as far as he has, he's going to continue to go ahead. Now, normally leshrac would be going for a Bloodstone here, but the team is just so far behind that during the next night, they have to actually do frontal engagement, and he's smartly going for the BKB. So Navi showing some foresight here, of course, being how good they are, not surprising at all. Tier 2 is going to be destroyed. I talked about it earlier, how this the earlier push made it effective. Unfortunately, nighttime gets pop here. Puppy is going to get picked off here. Tower is going to get protected, perhaps even denied, depending how much siege damage it's going to do. No, it's going to get weird out. So now Navi's going to back off. They baited out at least Darkness from Hani, but I'm not even sure what that's called, a bait, if you lost your Batrider.
Well, Fnatic want to take this late. Morphling has gone for an early Perseverance. Now, you can't just sit on the Perseverance and go directly into items like Yasha, Ethereal Blade, or a BKB. But I'm guessing this will be a Lincoln Sphere. Well, we're about to find out. He's got 2,300 gold to his name. I'm not sure how you feel about the Lincoln Sphere build, but I personally feel like when you have this kind of an advantage, Morphling doesn't really need to go for the super hard carry. He can get there just by picking off kills here and there. Chen to keep him alive. Windrunner to assist with the setup, with that 4-staff and the shackle shot. And Nightstalker as a secondary initiator. They just have so much mid-game presence once the second night starts that I don't think the farming Morphling build is necessary. Sure, it can work. It's perhaps a bit safer. But personally, I think you just can't let up the pressure against Navi. They are a team. If you give them room to breathe, they will start sucking in oxygen and quickly get up those items. Dendi now on a 4-staff. Generally, it seems like they're catching up. That crucially, leshrac is about to have his BKB only about 500 gold away.
I completely agree with you. Fnatic gotta keep applying pressure. Now, this is daytime, so perhaps they're like, you know what, let's farm for a little bit. And that's a fair choice, because nightstalker is a big part of their pressure play, and they really need that hero at full power to keep Navi down. But going back to the morphling's item, it doesn't matter what item he gets. The item that he gets should allow him, or should help him pressure. Lincoln Sphere might seem like a defensive item, but if you wave in the middle of everybody and start right-clicking away, they have to focus you, and the Lincoln Sphere suddenly becomes a lot more useful. Or you be the second person to help initiating after the Nightstalker has run in. And then that's one way to use your defensive item offensively. Lincoln's is going to be the item that he's going for. Personally, when you asked that question, I thought it was going to be a shotgun build, because if you're this far ahead and they're so under-leveled, under-farmed, a shotgun morphling would just be absolutely brutal. But, I mean, he's going for the safer build, which is completely fine.
Or even a BKB, and that's something a lot of the Asian teams really favor.
Yep.
If the Chinese teams in particular, if they have a good start on their morphlings, they will. I mean, a lot of people consider, the sort of the stereotype about Chinese Dota is that Chinese teams, they just farm all game. That's really not true. The top teams like Tongfu, if they get ahead, they'll rush a BKB on the morphling, and he will be in the middle of things. I mean, Lincoln Sphere, yes, it'll block one spell. BKB blocks just about everything. There's a demonic purge. There's a batrider ult. But these are, if batrider, as we say that, initiation on the middle lane, Light of Heaven, he's going to eat a bunch of spells, but there's the power of that Chen setting fly back, and the initiation completely negated by this Chen, but they're not done just yet. Will we see another zip? The pulse still cooling down. Disruption onto the CM. This is a pretty big dive, and I believe Navi, realizing that, are going to go ahead and back off.
Yeah, very lucky for them that Nightstalker's Darkness was still on cooldown. Level 1 Darkness has the longest cooldown ever. And he was not able to pop that one. If he did, he would have just used it and chased everyone away, because, Batrider didn't have anything. Storm was low mana after using his initial burst. But good job by Arzar. Everywhere I look at him, he's got sentries. He's counter-warding everywhere he goes. And again, it's so important to get the map control back slowly. Again, this is a testing time for Fnatic. So far, they have held it together. The first day has been somewhat favorable to the Nightstalker die once, but he's got a kill. And he's going to get a BKB in the next Nightfall. I can't even fathom how dangerous it will be, how hard it will be for Navi to play against a BKB Nightstalker. Because, last night, when the Nightstalker ran him, you could at least disrupt him. There's some answers to that. Now there's just no answer. I guess she's a Persian, but really that's not a long-term goal.
Yeah, I guess the Batrider could maybe throw the net on him, but he is so tanky, and he's got a Chen backing him up. And with a DD rune picked up on Hani, the nighttime available, a Haster in the bottle. Oh boy, double damage haste for Nightstalker. This tower is dead. There is no defending it. And are they actually going to go ahead and continue pressuring? We might see at least some more offensive wards being placed. Nighttime is dropped. It's only a level 1 Knight. He actually popped it. Did he pop it before the Nighttime officially kicked in? I'm not sure. It might have been right
didn't
after.
matter.
Not a big deal either way. He's a bit under level,
way,
though, I have to say.
Yeah, he's actually very under level for someone that's owning so hard. Dendi, by the way, has picked up Blink Dagger, but let's go back to level real fast and look at the exact leveling. Level 10 Nightstalker to level 14 Morphling, level 11 Windrunner. I mean, despite the fact that the Radiant is getting ahead in 9 kills, you gotta keep in mind they're roaming as 4 or 5. This has been Fnatic's playstyle. They're big, handholders. They don't go alone. And because of that, even though Navis are down by 9 kills, relatively in terms of level, they're not down by that many. Of course, Morphling 14 is still leading, well and far by anyone. But ooh, 4-staff Shackle, not gonna do much. Don't get silenced. So I'm trying to zip out. He's gonna be out of mana. That's the longest zip. He's gonna pop his arcane. One more zip left in him, but that Nightstalker with a haste in nighttime. Are they gonna keep diving?
No. They're just gonna go for the push here, and Mechanism has been up on No-Tail for a while. Even Power Tread's up on Nova. So they're a bit tankier than they have been in the past. The tower will just be burst down. Nothing that Navi can do to defend. At this point, I feel they can't really take a fight outside of their base, at least not while it's nighttime, especially not with the Haster up. And that Nightstalker, he's got the BKB, has not been purchased or delivered to him yet. Are they going to go for Roshan here? It looks like they will. I mean, this is a fight this is going to be a tough fight for Navi, but the BKB is up on leshrac. They have potential to win it.
They can win this fight. I feel like Navi definitely could win this fight. They have the initiation. They have the burst. And if they win this fight, Roshan is going to be claimed for taking the bot tower. It's going to slowly being sieged in. So, I mean, Fnatic, this is a very critical moment in their game. And they realize that. They perhaps can't even take this fight. They're going to back off. There's a Walkin Tornado giving them a small amount of sight as well. The big annoyance, it looks like it's going to get ushered away for now. And this long scale engagement, I think, favors Navi a little bit more. They have a dire advantage. As I say that, Arzar is going to get a disruption. But here comes the Force Staff. If we get that Shackle ever hit, Arzar is going to be left to the top. And they want Puppey instead. A little bit of misfocus here. And here comes Sandy. Nice Meteor Tornado on top of everybody. Big AoE damage being dumped out, but it's not going to be enough. Then he's going to Force Staff himself. Al is going to TP. Will he make it? Yes, he will. Two supports for the Radiant has gone down. As you see, the BKB TP, physical damage not going to be enough, but that was the first very crucial BKB charge being done, being used on the leshrac. And I think they have won that fight handily. Now Fnatic's going to go into the Roche pit.
Well, we seem to continue to be having Skype issues. You're quite robotic for me. Let me call you back.
Okay. Team fight. Hello, are you back?
Yeah, we are back, and you do sound a bit clearer. Hopefully, our connection stabilized. Sunstrike coming in. Aegis will be going to Era, who's now got 2,700 more gold. This is going to be close. Denny blinks in. He wants to jack it. Era gets it, though. Did Denny get the last hit on the Roshan? No, he didn't. And in fact, Denny might pay for his insolence. Purge onto Era. Looks like Era should be okay for the moment. Yep, Navi just going to back out. That was a very bold move by Denny. In the end, it didn't work out. But if he had been able to jack, they just could have been huge. Shackle shot not going to latch. I feel that one might. Maybe it should have hit, but either way, looks like Fnatic are completely going all in on the offensive here. As I say that, nighttime can be popped again on the Nightstalker. They could maybe go for high ground. I think they have the items they want. If they get one or two more pickoffs, they could go for it, but they do force the leshrac buyback, and Fnatic are going to play the safe. They're going to back off. There's really nothing Navi can claim right now that would be completely game-changing because that Roshan is down. So Fnatic can fully afford to play the safe.
Man, what bold play from Navi. You're down by 12 kills. You just lost a previous team fight. Yeah, let's go to it for Aegis Steal. If they lost an Aegis Steal, they would have lost mid-racks for sure. Nightstalker and Nighttime just running away, just scalping everyone out. Is that a Sentry War on the ground? Is that theirs? Nope. It is the Dyer's, but they want... Crystal Maiden has a Force out? No, Windrunner Enforcer out. Nightstalker just seeing everything right now.
Oh, 3 hero Centaur stop. That was pretty big, but they're not actually going to take the fight. They want to make sure Era is there, able to participate. And speaking of Era, he's got another 1,000 gold in the last minute or two. This is where Morphling really takes off in the mid-game. He can flash farm like none other. I mean, Anti-Mage with Battle Fury can maybe keep the pace, but aside from that, there are not many heroes currently in Dota 2 that can keep up at this stage of the game. You just can't gank him. He's got the Lincoln Sphere, he's got the Aegis. Even if you kill him once, even if you can work through the Chen heal, you're not killing Era twice. I feel like he may be borderline unstoppable here for Navi, who don't really seem to have any answers. Fnatic are going to have to make some big mistakes. Navi are going to have to force some big mistakes if they want to come back in this game.
Yep. Leshrac's going to be farming up top. I'm not sure if you caught it, but there was a Furbog up in a warding spot hill earlier. I guess he got pushed up by a...
Oh, no, I didn't catch that.
A fiery... What's that skill called? Flame Break. He was just chilling up there. I was like, new metagame warding here from Fnatic. As a Furbog just chilling at that camp. In any case, yeah, you're absolutely right. Navi, I mean, the nighttime's almost over, I feel like. But as I say that, these are second and third night. Oh no, Pupp's gonna get picked up. That's gonna be rough.
Dude, the second nighttime lasts forever, and
forever. Like it just never ends. Because you can pop like 3 darknesses off.
And he's only level 11. If he was a bit more leveled, if he had that level 3 ult, this night would truly last like an extra 2-3 minutes. As it is, it looks like he will have about 3-4 minutes to go before it's daytime. And during the second night, they could go high ground. I think they really want to finish this Ethereal Blade on the Morphling. As I say that, he's got the Eagle Horn. And all of a sudden, if you're Navi, you have only one BKB to your name. Everyone else is just total food for this combination. And because you have the Aegis and the Lincoln Sphere, you can go balls deep. Full agility morph available for Era if he wants to go for it. He's going to sit just over 1,000 HP. He's still going to hit like an absolute truck.
Because the enemy's so under level, I think this would be enough. Like, I don't think he needs to go to 1 strength. It'll be really cool for us to see, but I mean, I really don't think a 1,000 HP Shadow Demon will survive that. Puppey's got 1,300, Storm's only got 1,000, Dandy's got 1,000, so whoever gets caught out and don't react accordingly will be absolutely dead. And Era poking his head in, looking for a pickoff. I think you're right. This is time for Fnatic to go up the hill. No reason to give, any wiggling room to Navi. You never know what they're going to pull out you. So just go for it.
And speaking of going for it, I mean, the gold differential, it's not obscene, but what they have is just an out-of-control morphling, and really no one hero that can be the answer for that morphling. They don't have any kind of a strong lockdown for him because the Chen is here, as well as the heal on the Chen, the ability to send him back to base with Holy Persuasion, the Lincoln Sphere, and the Aegis. I'm surprised to see Fnatic playing so passively. Well, I'm not surprised, but I think they can go high ground here if they want to, but for the moment, they're just sort of grouped up looking for Navi to make a mistake, and Navi is not going to give them that mistake. Everyone up safely ensconced within the base. They're not going to leave until they at least see a couple of heroes on the map. So Fnatic is going to continue to slow roll this, continue to farm. And hey, Morphling is a hero. If you want to continue to slow roll it, he can benefit from that farm.
Don't be so sure when you say Navi is not going to make the mistake. We've seen them make mistakes in Game 1 as well as this game. Just right now.
I feel like they finally learned their lesson, though.
Well, hopefully for their sake they have. But yeah, Puppey just got caught earlier, and that could have been an easy high ground set if Fnatic wanted to take that. But now it's going to be a very, very slow siege. Like you pointed out, it definitely favors the team with the better late game hero, and that's definitely the Morphling. And because he's playing the Morphling, he could just make a replicate and follow the team, and then just go farm or pressure another lane, and then still join a team fight. So a little bit Spectre-esque in that department, and he could get much farm. So much farm.
Oh yeah, very reminiscent of Spectre, but of course, Morphling giving you that better early game, which is why we're seeing him picked up so much here nowadays. Well, I think he is the most popular carry here. I think he gets a bit more play than Anti-Mage. I would like to see the numbers on that, but we're gonna have to wait. Shackle shot as well as that onto Puppey. BKB gets popped from Nightstalker. Nice force step away and the disruption, but even that doesn't look to be enough. Arsar just getting murdered by Era. Not quite enough burst damage, but a couple more right clicks will do it. Meanwhile, the zips all over the place from Light of Heaven, but just not actually able to pick anyone off. That's where Chen comes in handy. Era diving so deep into the base. He's going to replicate out towards his team, and they can continue this push with the Chen, with the mechanism available to keep everyone healthy. 2 heroes dead for Navi, and not a lot of anti-push on their side. Dendy has opted for a Blink Dagger on 4-step. This is his preferred build when he goes Exhort. But I feel like it's a game where having all that mobility is not going to help you, because as soon as you start to get chased, yeah, you could try a 4-step away. The Blink Dagger is not going to do anything in that regard. Blink Dagger is much more an initiation item for Invoker to blink in, drop the Ice Wall. And I don't think there's any room for Dendy to be doing that initiation in this game.
Yeah, he tried it last fight where he dropped a decent tornado into a meteor combo and then followed with a Deathling Blast. But to be honest, the Radiant just so tank. Even Crystal Maiden with the help of a Mecha from Chen, as well as Tan of God, she could survive for a very, very long time. I felt like that fight just went as well as it could have for Navi. Of course, Puppey making that mistake again, getting initiated on. But he got forced that back, he got disrupted, and even got off a Flaming Lasso against Honey. And that really helped him survive for a long, long time. But it wasn't enough. Honey ultimately killed him, and then Morphling waved in with a big shotgun that immediately blew up one. And even though they didn't, get the Braxton and go into high ground and everything, they got a little bit more advantage. As I say that though, No-Tail getting chased away, but he's completely fine. It is daytime for Navi, finally. A rare opportunity for them to do something again. But they're just so far behind. Are they going to go farm? Are they going to look for a couple of ganks? Not too sure what they're going to exactly try to do.
Well, if you're looking at how Navi's playing here, as soon as it was daytime and they saw a hero up on the top lane, they immediately started trying to get some pickoffs. They saw Morphling farming bottom, they saw one hero top in the Nightstalker, and it is daytime, so they're like, okay, that's the perfect time to try and get a pick. It's just very difficult to do so when you're up against a Chen who's got, I mean, look how farmed No-Tail is. A Mechanism, a Force Staff. These are not outrageous items for Chen, but they're very solid pickups. And he's also, I mean, he's sitting at 900 HP. He's not super tanky, but he's tanky enough. He's got enough ways to survive. The pickoffs are not easy to come by. And so now Fnatic can continue to do sort of a 4+1 here, with Morphling farming over on one lane, and then the rest of his team grouped up. I would really like to see a Replicate constantly being left with the team. Era is level 16, so he could pretty much have a Replicate up about 75% of the time, following his team around. Fly has actually, I believe he's got his Hex now. Yeah, Sheepstick up on Fly. Another form of initiation for a team that already has so much. Hani will probably be the most reliable with that BKB charge in, as well as the Morphling waving in. They have a lot of options now on how to get those pickoffs, and once they get a couple, they could definitely go high ground. As I say that.
No!
Uh-oh.
The smoke dispels here, and will they find him? Power shot, give him sight, Force Staff and Hex, and that will be it. He tried to TP out on the very last second, that will bring him down. He does not have buyback. Another mistake getting picked up by Fnatic, this time during the daytime, but you gotta keep in mind, that Knight could be turned on anytime. Nightstalker level 14, still not that tank. We got Morphling doing a solo ganky. Like, he could actually solo gank a lot of these heroes. because of the propensity of that shotgun. And he sees Puppey.
Oh, is he going to make a go here, Puppey? He waveforms in to start. That's not the correct way to do the combo,
Nope.
and so Puppey will get away.
Although you could waveform, and during the middle of your waveform, you pop off your EB, and then
Oh, can you really?
kill in every wave.
That would be some WoDota-S stuff. That's very hard to pull off. Waveform is
Yeah.
it has a very quick travel time. Fnatic is reminding me just a tiny bit of MTW here, where they have a lead, but they're just not confident enough to go high ground. Again, they are playing Navi, and this is a team. It's very unusual to get ahead of Navi. Oh, Light of Heaven! He gets caught out. He gets just murdered. This is a game where, I mean, I think they needed more BKBs on Navi's side. They're trying to get a couple up. Puppey is working towards one. The Storm went Bloodstone build, and I just don't think this was the game for Bloodstone build. After you die 1 or 2 times, I mean, yes, get the Arcane Boots if you'd like, but then you have to rush a BKB, or at least a Lincoln Sphere. Something that gives you survivability, especially against this Nightstalker, because otherwise, a simple silence and you're just dead. You're a sitting duck.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things didn't really go Navi's way. They got really picked off far too many times, especially against a team with a Nightstalker. You never really can feed that. We see the leshrac trying his best to farm his way up. He's only going to get 1,000 gold before the next team fight, which means he can't really buy anything relevant if, again, Fnatic would like to push. I mean, they're getting these ganks off, but sooner or later, Navi will start to be smart up and prevent those ganks from happening, and they're going to get a lot of farm. So I feel like
Oh, it's not
Fnatic
over.
may be
It's
working on a clock, but they do have more.
No, I wouldn't say it's a clock, but I mean,
They gotta get in the base somehow.
it's only a clock if they start making mistakes. I mean, if they're not getting picked off, if they're farming a decent amount, Navi is too afraid. I mean, even though Navi is getting farm here and there, they're still very afraid to leave their base. At most, we see leshrac farming 1 lane, 4 heroes basically at the base, so they're not going to pull ahead in terms of farm as long as that's the case. Another item that I wanted to mention to you is Hani has picked up a Basher, and I completely agree with what you were talking about. I believe it's in the Mouse versus Virtus Pro series in the West qualifiers. I think Basher is totally legit on Nightstalker, especially with power treads. He's got so much attack speed. Another form of lockdown for a team that already has so much to work with. I love this pickup coming out here. He's already got the BKB. That's all the tank you'll need, as well as the levels to work with. It's just another great tool for a team that already has so many.
I mean, definitely give a Nightstalker some late game. No, Arzar, don't. Shaco shot, 4-man Shaco shotgun here to make sure they get the kill, and that's gonna be the high ground to him. Fnatic with the Aegis on the morphling, the fact that Hani's so damn tanked, they could have just run in. But yeah, like we talked about before, Nightstalker with the Hunter Knight gives him so much more movement speed and attack speed. It's actually more than Hyperstone. Attack speed is plus 75. Yeah, that's way more than a Hyperstone. He's going to dish out a lot of attack speed. Also, one of the better ways to deal with a Nightstalker is pop that BKB. Guess what? Basher from a physical hero goes through BKB.
Yeah, and against leshrac, who is not particularly mobile, that's great lockdown. Zip in to start. Meteor to follow. Arrow, they can bring him down once. Can they bring him down again is the question. Chen Heal gets popped. Hani getting focused. A perfect execution here to start the fight. But the question is, will it be enough? Well, they did pop the Aegis. They did pop the Chen Heal. At the very least, Fnatic may back off. Oh, Nova getting caught out of position. Should not have been in the front lines on the high ground, and at least not as long as Navi has no dead heroes. And a perfect defense from Navi. They really needed that fight. They're not done just yet, though. They may go for one more zip. They're not. Some breathing room. Navi, they've now acquired it. They're going to be able to farm. We can see them moving out of the base. They know that with the Chen Heal down, it being daytime again, and the Nightstalker on cooldown, as well as the Aegis being gone, then they're free to get some farm, and they're immediately going to seize that opportunity.
Before this team fight, a 14,000 goal lead for the Radiant is slowly going to dip. I mean, this is perhaps the reason why Fnatic was not so sure about the push, because despite all the big lead, Navi can still come back, and they just, had a small hiccup right now for Fnatic. Of course, they're going to get a little bit more farm room. Nighttime is over again. So Dendi and Squad, still alive at this point. Dendi up to 1,500 HP with the Axe Scepter. We saw him blinking multiple times in that team fight, dropping up some nice Ice Walls. Ice Wall is one of the more underrated spell invoker. It does look quite a bit. And Meteor, of course, when you're maxing Zord, that Meteor is going to do so much damage. Rewarding goes up. The gem got dropped by the Crystal Maiden, so they could deward as well. So right now, Navi trying to best to come back. Puppey pinging around furiously. Not too sure what.
Not sure what that's about. Roshan is down for the moment. Actually, it looks like Nova's doing some pay. Yeah, that gem being traded, that's a 1,400 gold swing. 700 gold that the Radiant spent now in the Dire's pockets. It won't be reflected on the gold graph, but that is a big difference, and especially I mean, this is what a hallmark of the great teams like Navi. As soon as they win a fight, they immediately go deep ward, put up some wards of their own. But Puppey, this is not the hallmark of a great player. Unfortunately,
No.
he gets caught out, farming by himself in the enemy jungle. Look at the closing speed on Fnatic. That nightstalker. I mean, he goes from mid lane to picking off a hero that's farming in his own jungle in about 3 seconds flat. Oh, that might be the pickoff they need to try and go high ground. There's no buyback of Puppey.
This does not look like a team that will win the international. It's just too sloppy for Navi's play. Like, I'm not used to
This
them.
is not characteristic for Navi.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very odd. They're getting so many random pickoffs. They're giving pickoffs, and there's just not going to be enough. Of course, smoking, bypass the wards, and here comes Fnatic pushing in. Without a batrider for about 11 seconds, it's going to be rough. Glyph already used. Big meteor is going to chop down the creep wave, but nightstalker says, yeah, I'll keep right-clicking, no problem there. Range rack is somewhat focused. That's not the racks that you really care about.
Are they going to back off here is the question. Also, Era doesn't have a replicant up. He really needs to make one. As I say that,
he does, yeah.
Gets one up on the Crystal Maiden. That's an important escape mechanism. Era opted for an Ive Skady, and that is a great item on Morphling. Gives you 50 extra stats that can be morphed between strength and agility. The most cost-effective raw stats for Morphling out of any possible item in the game. But after that, I really think he needs a BKB. The only way he's going to die is if he gets completely locked down, especially with Storm, who seems to be the primary initiator, zipping in. Even if Puppey lassos you, they don't have the right-click power to bring him down, as long as he's able to get a BKB off. Nova getting caught out potentially again. Zip in. There's the Sunstrike. Nova just explodes. And down he goes. Navi, in spite of being caught out of position themselves, are still finding the pickoffs. Now, killing Crystal Maiden won't win you this game, but what it will do is delay the push. Fnatic is not a team that's going to try to go high ground 4v5.
And that push, that gank attempt gave Storm his Bloodstone if he still wants it at this point. Now, Ogre Club, though, might signify BKB. He talked about how important it is to have that magical immunity. That might be true about 5-10 minutes ago, but now with the bash on Nightstalker, there's an even answer for that, as, again, you can bash enemy heroes in the BKB. So Stormster at Light of Heaven might not be as invulnerable as he'd like. He's sitting up to 2100, definitely saving for that BKB. It seems like Fnatic wants to go up on the high ground again. Level 16 almost being reached on the Nightstalker, so the next Nightfall even longer for Hani. But right now, of course, Navi getting whatever farm they can before the next team fight. Ghost Scepter being completed on Invoker, and of course giving himself a little bit more physical survivability. Generally, you don't want to pick up Scepter up against a team that has a lot of burst, but guess what? There's a shotgun on the other side anyways. So he's just basically gonna give himself a little bit more survivability at a slight risk.
I don't think it's possible to actually be, to stack
Double
up,
shotgun.
double ethereal. But man, that would be funny if you could. The ethereal blade plus the ghost scepter, just probably killing a hero instantly. We're not going to see that this game. Roshan, still a couple minutes to go here, so if Fnatic want to go high ground, they do so without an Aegis. It was a Helm of the Dominator that Era opted for, and I don't agree with this choice at all, because if he's in these fights, they're going to try and lock him down. They're not going to ignore him, and he's just not going to be right-clicking too much unless they get ahead, in which case they're going to win anyway. In fact, he's going to go in on Denny, but immediately the BKB on Puppey. He's actually not using his ultimate. I have no idea what Puppey's doing here. He gets right-clicked down, finally pulls in Hani. He held it to the last second. Will Hani die? He's so tanky. Invoker gets sniped. Hani going to run out the other direction, pull in. Oh, look how far Hani has extended, but while this is all happening, the melee wrecks are being focused down. Where in the world is Era? He's at the enemy fountain. Double kill for Era. And they went for the Nightstalker, and it was ultimately the Morphling that punished them. I think you gotta focus Era, especially since he's on a BKB, because otherwise he will just rip through your entire team. That 10-second adaptive strike, that changed the Morphling a patch or two ago. Man, does it make a difference. So much more burst damage and sustainability in these team fights.
Yeah, and this is the game where Morphling's right-click will hurt so much. BKB does not do anything for you. Dendy's, with his high enough HP, did survive the initial shotgun to a 1-strength Morphling. So kudos for him to doing that, but instead of going back to the fountain, he actually had to help his team. And the second adaptive strike, the low cooldown like you mentioned, just blew him away. And now 2 racks is now, I think the game is going to be over. Whoa, nice zip here for Life Heaven dodging that one. But Replicate is going to be Morphling's own self-dodge. There's no way that Navi's going to win this game, but they're going to try.
Well, with 2 sets of racks down, any attempts to defend or to stop a Roshan attempt, any effort to stop a Roshan attempt is going to be much more difficult. Roshan is respawning in just a couple of minutes, and if I'm Fnatic, especially the way they've been playing, I expect to see them wait for that Roshan. Also, maybe wait for Era to get his next item up. He is sitting on 3,000 gold. I still think BKB is the way to go because it's just the safer choice, and Fnatic appear to be a team that wants to play this very safely. leshrac up on the high ground. What in the world is he doing here? He's going to get hexed. He's forced to pop the BKB. Another BKB charge. He's now down to 5 if he wasn't already before that one. And a 5-second BKB, not very long in these engagements.
Yeah, well, leshrac is... Oh, as we see the Abyssal Blade. Abyssal Blade on Nightstalker, yes, it is a Abyssal item. On anyone else is abysmal. In any case, a shotgun comes in from Morph out of nowhere, and he just replicates away. This is some real ninja assassin. Here comes Puppey. Wow, Navi is just on a meltdown. Seems like as if they don't care. This is really, really ugly. And I think we just have to go to game 3 before Navi further embarrasses themselves.
Yeah, not sure if they just
may say.
Yeah, not sure if they just each have one hand on the keyboard and the other hand, on a drink or something. But they're just feeding at this point, and Fnatic is with these several kills being donated towards themselves. They will collect one more, this time on Dendi. He'll go down, and now the GGs come out. I mean, I think Navi knew it were over, and knew it was over. They weren't too worried about it. We're gonna go to a game 3. Frankly, I didn't expect to see one.
Nope.
I'm sure you feel the same, but Navi, they have shown a propensity to give up a game and a series here or there against an inferior opponent, and then turn it on in game 3. Go with one of their standard stable lineups, and just run away with it. I would really expect to see a morphling ban. If for no other reason than Fnatic love the morphling. Sure, you can counter it, but why counter it? Why even deal with that when you can just ban it out and limit Fnatic's options for that hard carry? We'll have to wait and see. Game 2 goes the way of Fnatic. 1-1, they tied up. This is a best out of 3. Will Fnatic finally give Navi, I believe, their first loss of the Premier League, or is Navi going to turn it, kick it into second gear, and run away with this one? Stay tuned, folks. We're about to find out.